the market turned red, but those with egg on their face are all those saying XRP is going nowhere. I've done some deep diving into the Ripple National Trust Bank document and to what it is all about. And let me tell you, it is bullish. I also want to talk about the Senate Banking Committee that Stuart Aldertree just submitted, as well as SEC deadlines and everything else going on with XRP. Probably one of the most bullish XRP videos you are going to see today. So go ahead, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Remember, we break down the markets, keeping you dialed in terms of the movement and, more importantly, keeping you up to date with XRP content and breaking down the most complex scenarios to make sure our portfolios are skyrocketing. Now, within that, hit the like button and subscribe. Let's get into it. So many of you will know, if you've been subscribed to this channel, that I have talked about this now for a while. Since it broke, we sort of dived into it a little bit to understand what it was going to be all about and, more importantly, how this is going to affect your cryptocurrency holdings. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that basically means you're not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead, click the button. I can wait 10 seconds for you to do it. I actually can't. We need to talk about this. It's pretty crazy. So with this act, or with this proposal, basically there are two key elements to it. One is the kind of bank side of it, and two is what they're going to offer. Now, this is way closer than I think a lot of people think. Many people outside of the XRP community would say, well, it's just a bit of a hype train. It's another liquidity grab. The reality of this is a transformational piece of documentation. I think it's very, very interesting. So what is in it and why is it important? Well, the reality is they've submitted what they call an office to the controller of currency, basically allowing them or asking if they can create the Ripple National Trust Bank. That is the first part, which, like I said, basically allows them to create the bank and then start to offer particular services within that. There is another part to it as well, which they have asked for, which is basically to make them a Fed master account, which I think is really, really important. We'll break down exactly what that means in just a minute. But basically what they want to do is offer crypto and digital assets rather than traditional deposit and taking or lending operations. So it's slightly different to our traditional bank. So this ultimately would then allow them to be the custodian and fiduciary, enabling to hold digital asset reserves and issue Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD. So that's where the kicker comes in. You are basically going to be able to take your Bitcoin, Ethereum, anything you want, go into the Ripple bank, so to say, and basically be issued out stablecoin in RLUSD. Now, this is a new way of unlocking capital from digital assets. Remember, we've had a lot of differences going on recently with Freddie and Fannie Mac talking about how you can use crypto assets for mortgages. This is the start of a truly decentralized revolution. And the reality is Ripple is now aiming to bypass traditional intermediary banks, cut transaction costs, as well as accelerating payment settlements by integrating more directly with the US financial infrastructure. It is literally happening, and it's here on this document. They are obviously applied for that Federal Reserve master account, which basically then allows them to hold reserves directly with the Fed and issue redemption capabilities 24/7. This could be the first bank you can access 24/7 to get access to cryptocurrency, to get access to traditional finance, or whatever it is. This totally changes the game, and I think this is where it's important. Now, what's also worth noting here, there has been several banking groups that are absolutely against this, and you would expect it. They're governed by a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday traditional banking system that's slow and ultimately puts money in their pocket rather than yours. Ripple are aiming to absolutely destroy that mold and bring this in. We are going to see a battle like never before, and I think the winner is Ripple. And this is such a clever way of doing business. And I, for one, think it is going to be one of the most innovative things we see in the crypto markets, which I think is going to bring a lot of capital, revenue, volume, customers, whatever you want to call it, to Ripple. It's big. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on with this. And at the back end of it, or more importantly, the fact here is that they're going to be able to offer something that the traditional banking system doesn't. And if you look into what a fractionalized banking is, this is the change. This is the moment I think a lot of people have been waiting for. Now, there's no surprise then that we see lots of stuff coming in from Stuart Aldertree talking to the chairman, Tim Scott, specifically about the Banking, Housing and Urban Affairs Committee, how they can support digital assets between the CFTC, SEC, and as well as striking a balance in terms of tokenization and much more. All again, playing out to a very interesting facade. Now, this is why we're seeing big companies get involved though. And we've seen recently massive XRP treasury companies, millions of dollars expected to flow in, huge OTC sales. In fact, the number of XRP available on OTC is declining at a rate that we have never seen before. And this is incredibly bullish indeed. So you're going to start to see more and more of this whether it's Metaplanet that'll pivot, whether it's a new company or more, we are seeing tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars being purchased for XRP and even raising debt in order to get in on this. This is going to be a race to the top to grab hold as much XRP, especially the minute that banking license is approved. You better hold on to your hats, because I think XRP is going to get outpriced for a number of people. It's going to be pretty wild if you ask me. And like I said, there is lots of debate coming from the SEC. They recently just announced that obviously staking is no longer classed as a security, once again unlocking a huge potential. What is important though is Ripple's market share is increasing every single day. We actually moved from 4.6 to 5% now. And the best way to look at this is here, just in terms of the 24-hour trading volume, is showing you what people are interested in. Ripple here at 5.68 billion, only behind Bitcoin, Ethereum, and technically Tesla doesn't count really, but outpacing Solana, outpacing BNB, Tron, everything else, showing absolute desire to get into this. And this is where we get very important. Yes, they're going to be profit taking. Yes, there's going to be selling off. It is part of life. It's fine. We just need to kind of move on. And then obviously the last piece of the puzzle, the bit everyone talks about, but if I'm honest, I've kind of moved on because I don't really care. There's enough going on outside of this for me to really worry about it. But the major announcement is expected August 15th. Hopefully, over the last 4.5 years, we will see the SEC finally drop the case. And the reality is, it is the SEC. Ripple have already moved on, as you can see, with the Ripple Bank and everything else. This is just about the SEC and finally moving on. Now, it could all coincide with the same thing. We could see XRP absolutely skyrocket. And who knows, it might be $50 by the weekend. Before you put it in the comments, by the way, I know that's not going to be the case. But we could definitely start to see a potential move. And more importantly here, on the market structure, on the charts, the weeklies, we bounced off this lower support here at 290. Does look like we're going to try and push up, so watch out. Next 48 hours, in my opinion, is critical. But I urge you to go and look at that banking application and truly understand what Ripple and therefore XRP and DYOR are really going to do in this market. It is going to blow the market's socks off. That's why traditional banks hate it. So we'll break down more of it. We'll keep you posted on it. Like, as always, no one else is covering this sort of stuff. We're keeping you dialed in. So hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if you are bullish on the XRP. I mean, technically I should call it a Ripple Bank, but you know what I mean. And then I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. See you soon.